back to back, all that stuff this time of the year. Just trying to be aware of their bodies and the different injuries that they're all dealing with.
Michael, I don't know how much of it you got a chance to see, but what did you sort of think of Julian's game in the G League the other night, and what's kind of the process of getting him back into some NBA minutes going to look like?
Yeah, just got to stay ready. I mean, he's a rookie on a really good basketball team, and he was playing earlier in the year. He played well for us, but Jamal was not playing with that second unit, and he is now. So it's good to see him back on the court, being healthy, ready to go. And if we're able to get him in any games, obviously it's a bonus for him. But right now Reggie, Jamal, Christian, Peyton, and DJ—that's our second unit. So for a guy like Julian, he's just got to stay ready and take advantage of any and all opportunities.
With Jamal, he's had the three straight games in double-digit assists. It seems like there have been different coverages, different lineups, whether Jokic is on the floor or not. He's been able to sort of have that playmaking aspect. What have you sort of seen from him from that standpoint in these stretch of games?
But yeah, I mean, it's what we saw last year during our run to a championship, reading the game, reading how he's being guarded. That first unit, he gets more normal coverage. And then when he was out there with the second unit, teams get a lot more aggressive with him. They're gonna, some teams are throwing the box of one. They blitz him, they trap him, they hit him. And what I loved, end of the first quarter last night, I think it was a tie game, and they went to a blitz. The Lakers did, and he found Peyton for a three, he found CB for a three, and we closed on a 6-0 run. So for Jamal, it's just the continued progression of taking the game as it comes to you, reading the defense and making the right read. Once you put two on the ball, you've done your job. Get off in a timely manner and trust your teammates to make the right play.
I heard in the post-game locker room speech last night that I know Aaron Gordon got the defensive player of the game, Shane, but Michael Porter Jr. was maybe a close second. Watching back the film, what did you see from him on both ends of the floor in that game against the Lakers?
Yeah, aggression on offense. Obviously he got off to a really hot start, and the great thing was, Michael was aggressive throughout. We were able to get Michael to score all four quarters, and they made some big plays down the stretch, obviously. And then defensively, just the disposition and engagement that you need. If you want to be an impactful defender, you have to have discipline, and you have to have the proper mindset to go out there and do your job with tremendous energy and effort. And I felt Michael had some great possessions, not only on the ball, but just as importantly off the ball.
Yeah, Michael, I don't know how much you've seen the Kings this year in preparations, but looking at the way they are, do they look very similar? Any difference from what you remember last year and when they were kind of on their run? I know record-wise they're very identical, but I don't know if there's anything that maybe stood out to you and any similarities or differences.
Not really. I mean, unfortunately for us, we've played them twice now. Tonight will be the second game. It's the second night of a back-to-back for us. So obviously they have a rest advantage in both games, which is a tremendous advantage. But that's the hard part in the NBA. We're worried about the Lakers last night. Then you get in late, and you get ready for the Kings in less than 24 hours. And the same thing last time we were here. But you mentioned it. I believe if the record is nearly the same, I think expectations are the big difference. They had a season last year where they put themselves on the map. There was a lot of excitement about the Kings within the NBA. Tremendous fan base that I'm sure was very, very passionate and excited and proud of that. And then when you have expectations, people always want more. It's human nature. So even though they're roughly on the same path, I'm sure there are people out there that are disappointed that you lose to Detroit and all of a sudden the sky is falling. Everybody just got to relax. Mike Brown's a hell of a coach. They're a good team. They have a lot of very talented players, and just let it play itself out. That's what you realize as a coach in the NBA. 82 games, you can never get too high, and you can never get too low. You just got to stay the course, and really kind of trust the direction that your team is on, because that's different than everybody else. So I'm sure Mike and those guys will continue to do their job and get this team ready for the postseason.
Coach, you're about to complete your 10th back-to-back. Your record's better than it was last season. How would you account for that? What do you think you're doing better on back-to-back?
Coaching. I think I'm a much better second night of a back-to-back coach this year. Spent a lot of time in the offseason working on that. I think it's confidence. I think our players, after winning a championship, there's a belief in one another. There's a belief in themselves as individuals. And when you can go on the road and win a game in the second night of a back-to-back or at home, You kind of that builds confidence. But I really can't speak to one thing or the other. Why that's the case, but obviously you want to be a team that can go on the road and win. You want to be a team that can be mentally tough enough to go and win games on the second night of a back-to-back and avoid all of the readily available excuses that come with those games.
You talked last time about going back and watching the film of last night's game and seeing things, you learn more when you get to see the film. Is there anything that you saw last night that maybe surprised you in a good or a bad way, or things you said, okay, that reaffirmed what I thought was going on?
Well, yeah, I mean, from last night's game, it was our turnovers kind of jumped out to me. A lot of wasted possessions. We had 33 assists, so we had a great ball movement night. But I thought we had just too many possessions where, if you go back to the big run we allowed the Lakers to go on to kind of get back in the game, we had 4 turnovers in that stretch. So understanding why, we know runs are going to happen, but we can't fuel teams. Like tonight, if you go back to game 1, why did the Kings beat us? We won 3 quarters. They dominated the second quarter. Our scored us by 19, I believe. We only had 11 turnovers. They converted those into 20 points. They had 32 transition points. They had 16 made threes, and they had 60 in the paint. So my message to our guys today, from going back and looking at the Kings film, is you can't give a team transition, paint, and threes. You got to take something away in this business, and hopefully our guys tonight can do a better job of, like last night, valuing the ball, not fueling the Kings break because they can get out and run in a hurry, and just be a lot more disciplined with all the three-point shooting they have, and they have plenty of it.
One more, anybody?
Coach, I just want to get your thoughts about, how competitive, the Western Conference is, at this point. I know the Kings were in fifth and they dropped down. They keep bouncing up and down. And of course, there was some movement yesterday with Phoenix and Dallas basically bringing in some defensive players. I just want to get your thoughts about how the closeness of this conference is, going forward.
Yeah, it's really really deep. Last year we were in a different boat. We took over first place in the West probably middle of December and never looked back. And this year, I think us and Minnesota are tied for first as of today, and you have OKC and the Clippers right behind us, and then around 5 games behind them, you have another bunch. You have your Kings, you have your Pelicans, you have the Mavs, you have the Suns. So, and you have a Golden State, who you never know what you're going to get with them. You have the Lakers, who went to the Western Conference Finals last year. So, yeah, the Western Conference is very, very deep. There's a lot of parity, and that's what makes it exciting. If you're an NBA fan, if you're a fan of your respective team, what a tremendous opportunity to see a lot of really talented teams battle going down the last 30 games of the regular season and then into the postseason. But it seems like the West is tough, and it always gets tougher and tougher at every trade deadline, at every draft, or during free agency. It's there's no rest for the weary.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.